We're live. Another episode of BS Busters. Thank you for joining us. Running a little bit late, but sorry. Just shit happens. I'm here with the usual suspects. Sir, introduce yourself.
Country Valentino, glad to be here on another one of the guest busters.
Well, we finally.
Glad to have you. This has been an eventful week in gaming.
Yeah.
Some stuff where I'm like, oh, okay, wasn't anticipating that. The big one being Square Enix Square Enix shuttered a lot of studios, fired a lot of people, because apparently Final Fantasy 16 underperformed.
Yeah.
It only sold 3 million. Now, before anyone says anything, Final Fantasy 16, I think right now is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Here,
Yeah.
let me check. Final Fantasy 16 platforms. Yeah, so it's shit. God damn, it won't tell me the platforms. This should be very easily. Okay, so right now it's only on the PS5 and the PC.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, it's only on the PS5. So that game sold undersold for Square Enix. They were expecting it to sell like 10, 15 million, only sold 3 million. And so because of that, they're like, we need to fire a whole bunch of people and shutter studios.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. So what game is it? Oh, Final Fantasy game?
Final Fantasy 16. The
Final
one that
Fantasy
just came
16,
out.
yeah. Yeah. I learned something interesting today. Apparently in Japan before, which is an interesting rule, before you can start closing down studios in Japan, the higher ups have to take a pay cut. Apparently that's a law, a rule.
That's
So that's
probably
why
an unspoken rule, but not really a law.
so it's more like a polite sort of like honorable thing to do
I
versus like
mean, it's just how culture is over there. Like,
yeah
okay, if a studio shuts down over there or a business shuts down, the owners have to take blame as well. They can't all push it all on one person. Although they do. Cuz you see that all the time where they're like I mean, you saw the shit that happened with Street Fighter 5. I mean, Street Fighter 4, right? Street Fighter 4 came out. No, Street Fighter 5 came out, and they Yoshinori Ono had been the director for 4 and 5 and all the little iterations they had between there. And
yeah
that game bombed. Like 5 bombed, and they made him fall on his sword. But the thing is people are under the misapprehension that, well, the reason it bombed is because Yoshinori Ono. I'm pretty sure Yoshinori Ono and the people under him weren't like, yeah, we want to ship a game that is missing core features that have been in every other Street Fighter game since the shit started. Okay, except for the first Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, all the alphas, all the zeros, like all that shit had multiple playable characters, a story mode, an arcade mode, like all this shit, versus mode, like, bonus games, all that type of shit. And then to ship a Street Fighter that doesn't have any of that shit. I'm pretty sure he wasn't like, yeah, let's not have any of this. I'm pretty sure he was told by the people above him, his bosses, who said, get this shit has to ship this quarter, this day. It's
yeah
missing these features. I don't care. Get it out the door.
yeah
And they basically created a scapegoat. That's basically what, like, so, you know, in Japan, it's polite for the person who fucked up to take the blame and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, that's my bad." But sometimes they don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, but you know, but yeah, Square Enix has been, people have been um upset at the new developments,
Mm-hmm.
especially typical fanboys.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think unless it's in house, for the most part, I think console exclusives are dead unless you have a really good relationship with a second party studio
Mm-hmm.
or you're doing your games in house.
I
I think, big AAA console exclusives or
yeah,
third party exclusives are done.
because you can't make money off of it unless you're indie and you know that's where your audience is.
Yeah.
Um, Aside from that, your ass is just you're not gonna make it. You can't like. But I think that the core reason that this shit fell apart is because for years Square Enix was supping at the teat of Sony,
Yeah.
and that teat dried up, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's dry. It's dry. Ain't nothing coming out. Just
And
powdered
and
milk.
re and re and Rebirth it wasn't gonna sell nearly as much as the first game.
Yeah, because
Just
people
for the
didn't like the changes. They were like, "This is
Yeah,
not how I would want this remake to be."
exactly.
Mm, you know,
Yep.
I don't know, but anyway, they're following the trend of shuttering studios, firing people. I felt so bad about Tango Studios, founded by Shinji Mikami, from being shuttered that I went and I bought Hi-Fi Rush, the deluxe edition with all the extra content and shit like that off of Steam. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna throw some biddies that studio's way before they get shut down.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame. This is the world we live in, folks.
Well, unfortunately.
Studios that make good
Unfortunately.
games that make money, are successful, get shut down, and under budget are shut down. But we keep studios that, um, you know, 343 is still being kept alive, and they fucking ruined Halo.
Yeah. Yeah, they get to still be around.
But that's the world we live in, folks. That's the world we live in. This bullshit right here. This is the topsy turvy bullshit ass world we live in.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. Here's what I know. I know that gaming is. I know we're living in a world where we're accepting mediocrity and bullshit, and the people who are running these companies don't have a good. They don't have. They don't. They really don't give a fuck about what the gamers want
Yeah.
or what the gamers have created, because they created Ghostwire Tokyo, Evil Within games, You know, it's this is we're in a world where they're treating us like we're stupid.
Yeah.
You know, it's not cool. I don't like it. I don't like people treating me like I'm stupid. You know, I'm like Michael Corleone from The Godfather. I don't like when people insult my intelligence. It makes me very angry when people insult my intelligence, and that's what we have going on fundamentally. People are treating us like we don't like we're stupid. It's like, oh, your dumb ass don't know. You don't know what the hell you're doing. But enough about that. Guess we can move on to some good news. So, as we all know, um, Paper Mario is coming out next month, or is it this month? No, next month. And the Thousand Year Door remake. And did you know that 9 years ago we almost got a we Nintendo did a swerve when they should have done a curve. They were going to make a port of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door for the 3DS. Do you know what we got instead? Um, anyway, what we got instead was
I'm sorry, I didn't know I was muted. What
yeah,
are we
you
getting
were.
today?
Yeah, what we got Sticker Star. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sticker Star, yeah.
And the franchise has been shit ever since. I mean,
Yeah.
it has been it has been nothing but dog ass. I'm gonna.
Unfortunately.
I say that 100%. I say that with 100% certainty. Sticker Star was the start of that franchise going down the shitter. Sticker Star, Color Splash, Origami King. All three of those games are trash. Um, and unfortunately, you know, Sticker Star sold a lot because the 3DS had had a large install base, and sadly, they followed the numbers. Oh well, that means people really like this game. It's like no, it's because people wanted a Paper Mario game, and they thought that this was going to be at that level, and instead you made some dumbed down, streamlined bullshit. And every game after that was just kind of trash. Color Splash was trash. Origami King was trash. Just a lot of
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah. And hopefully they'll learn their lesson. But they probably won't. Because none of these companies do.
I mean, if Thousand Year Door, the remake of Thousand Year Door, sells gangbusters, which it might, if it sells gangbusters, then yes, there's a chance.
Yeah.
But I doubt it. You know what I mean? Like, because Nintendo does whatever the fuck they want. Damn the
Yeah.
damn the consequences. Damn if it's gonna work. They do whatever the hell they want. They don't care.
Yeah. They march to the beat of their own drum. So
Whether or not it is whether or not it is valid or not, they just kind of, they go and do their own damn thing. So anyway, um, it's just not a good time to be it's not a good time to be that type of gamer. I mean,
yeah,
you know, occasionally they'll throw us a bone, but most of the time it's some bullshit. Yes, I'm calling. Um, I'm calling most of the. I'm calling most of the games that have been created by. I'm calling most of the games that have been created by. Uh, uh, the Paper Mario games that have been created after Thousand Year Door. Well, actually, no. I'll say after. I'll include. I'll include. What's it called? I'll include Super Paper Mario, which isn't great, but it's still better than a lot of those other games.
yeah,
But yeah, man, that's the world we live in, folks. That's the bullshit ass world we live in.
yeah, and unfortunately, I don't see it changing anytime soon.
It could change, but like the only way companies like Nintendo learn is through failure. But the problem is that they learn the wrong lessons.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, so like they'll see, like, you can already tell that Thousand Year Door is probably gonna be like a huge seller, and instead of them being like, oh, well, so that means that people, you know, we need to make more games like this. Like the Paper Mario franchise needs to go back to being more like this. They'll say, oh no, that means we just have to make more remakes. It's like that's not that's not what people are saying.
yeah. But the thing about remakes is like they can just do remakes because that's a safe bet for them.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. I'm not against remakes. I'm not. Some people are like, oh man, they did a remake. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about remakes. Remakes aren't inherently bad. What's bad about remakes? What ruins remakes is when you do a remake and it's like, remakes are bad when you basically when you just be throwing shit together.
Yeah.
You know, remakes are bad when they're half-assed, when you just do the bare minimum. You know, so unfortunately, Nintendo is kind of guilty of this because look at that remake they did of That 3D Mario All Stars collection, trash.
Yeah.
Hot butter trash. But, you know, that's just my opinion. With that being said, um, I guess it's time to go to another topic. Mm, this time I'll go to Polygon. So, we finally got what we wanted from Assassin's Creed. They're finally doing an Assassin's Creed set in Japan. And it's Assassin's Creed Shadows. Two playable characters. You've got a shinobi slash ninja, or it's more of a kunoichi because it's a female ninja, because the female ninja is called kunoichi, and a samurai. And I mean, oh, it only took like 20 years for them to finally give people what they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, people have been asking for that for years.
Yeah, yeah.
And
It
they're
only
like,
took
nah,
20
we're not
years.
doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it only took 20
we're gonna
years.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Like, and it's not the way I would have done it. Uh, I mean, I mean, just me personally, I would have done a Assassin's Creed where you had ninjas versus, like, I would have flipped the script because every other Assassin's Creed game, you're like part of the Brotherhood of Assassins and all that shit. I would have had the assassins. I would have had a ninja fighting the Brotherhood of Assassins to determine who's the best assassins. So like you could have had like a cool thing where it's like, okay, the Brotherhood of Assassins is everywhere in the world except Japan because they've got ninjas, and every time we've sent someone to Japan, they fucking murdered the shit out of us. The last dude we sent over there, they sent his head back in a box. That would have been an interesting angle, but instead we're getting some bullshit. So, you know, but you do get to play the second that you play as a female ninja named Naue, and you get to play as the second playable character is the black samurai Yasuke. So cool, I guess you get to play as a black samurai.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, as
Panda bearing.
I mean, if the game is good, I'll be okay with it. You know, like pandering. You know, I mean, the fact that they're finally making a fucking Assassin's Creed in Japan, which is what people want for 20 years, is pandering. Um,
I guess, yeah, I guess it's a form for panda bearing, but you know,
now,
I don't
I don't
know.
even I don't want to call it that because you know now if they made he's the Black Samurai Yasuke, but he's also transgendered, uh, intersexed, and on the gender spectrum. Okay, yeah, that's pander. You know, but there was a black samurai named Yasuke. The guy was enslaved and sent to Japan, where he became a samurai, and apparently he was a pretty good one too. So, I mean, you know, I mean that's not really pandering. That's just like they're basing it on a historical character.
Oh, okay, all right.
You know, like it's like, you know, it's kind of like if they made a historically accurate western where the cowboys were black, and then someone said, "Well, you're pandering." Well, actually, statistically, most of the cowboys during that time were black men. Matter of fact, cowboy was a derogatory term because they didn't want to call them a man because it was racist. So they called them cowboys. Like it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not really. It's just kind of like that's. You know, it's just kind of like what was kind of the thing. You know, it's like you know. It's like, I think people. I think sometimes people look for shit to get offended about. Speaking of shit to get offended about, I got something that's offensive. So, do you have Nintendo Switch Online?
yeah. I tend to play Smash every once in a while online.
Well, guess
What they
what,
do this
man?
time?
They added
What?
three new games, buddy. I don't know if you got the $19.90, $20 a year, the $50 a year, But here's what they added in May: Super Mario Land for the Game Boy.
Oh, the
Yeah,
bad one.
man. Yeah, $20 a year. This is what gets you. This is what your subscription gets you, boy.
Oof.
Yeah, you're renting this game. You don't own it, by the way. You're just renting it. What else? Let's see. What other game? Alleyway, man. You get Alleyway. It's a breakout clone.
Jeez.
$20 a year, bro, or 50 if you want the N64 and Sega Genesis games.
Yeah.
And of course, Nintendo Baseball, y'all. Nintendo Baseball. That's right. $20 a year. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm being facetious.
Yeah, I don't know if you've gone back and played Super Mario Land. That game's kind of rough.
Not really. I mean, listen, man. It's a year one game for the Game Boy, and you get a cut down Super Mario Brothers game, but mechanically it's sound. The sequel looks like it's a cut down version of Super Mario World, but the first game looks like it's a cut down version of Super Mario Brothers on the Nintendo, the OG,
Yeah.
first Mario Brothers. And I mean, look, man, they were learning the hardware. Let me put it this way: if you have a 3DS with those ambassador games on there, and you play those games, they still hold up. Like playing that game, getting a high score, rushing through a level, it still feels pretty good to move around in that world. Um, I can't say that about a lot of games. Like old
Yeah.
games. Like go and play the original OG Pokemon Red and Blue. It's rough.
Yeah, that the sorry. A game that's really rough is that Star Wars game.
Yeah.
I used to play that game
Oh
when I
yeah.
was like
Yeah. The first two Star Wars games that were ports of the NES games, those games are trash. They were published by JVN, that company. Or sorry, LJN. Those games are terrible. But if you play the Super Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi for the Game Boy, it's actually a really nice downport of the SNES game.
yeah.
So, I mean, like, I don't think all handheld games are. Sometimes the handheld game is the best version of a game. For example, when Nintendo had the rights to make James Bond games, they made James Bond. Sorry, Rare made not only a N64 GoldenEye, but they also made a Game Boy game called James Bond. And it's like a Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening type game where you equip your little gadgets and weapons and defensive gadgets to the A and B button, and you go around like a semi open world sandbox on missions and shit. And it's amazing. And that game still holds
Yeah.
up. So my point is simply to say this: you shouldn't look at handheld gaming. You shouldn't look down on handheld gaming. The only reason I was talking shit about the stuff they had was just because, like, I don't think paying like $20 to $50 a year is worth the shit they've been giving people.
I agree.
I'm sorry, you know, but that's my own opinion. But hey, teach his own. Um, so with that being said, I guess we can move on to the next topic, which is let's see, what other topics do we have? This is all impromptu. I'm just spilling it out. Okay, the UK government responds to Stop Killing Games petition, and it's not good. There is no requirement in UK law that forces companies to support old software, which is true. But, you know, you did spend money on it, and there is a certain level of expectations with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you purchase the game and 5, 10 years down the road, even sometimes it's been significantly shorter. They're like, well, we're shutting the servers down. There's nothing you can do about it.
We didn't make money on
Flush
it.
all,
Yeah.
yeah, flush all that money down the toilet. So sorry, not sorry. Thanks for the money, though.
I think it's bad that just we don't like they basically want like companies want to control how you play your games, when you play your games, you know, or even if you don't play the game, they want to control when you can buy the game. And I'm not cool with that.
Yeah,
Like, let's use Nintendo for example. Nintendo was going after people for emulation. Well, don't emulate, don't emulate. But you have games that you haven't re-released and they aren't available commercially. So what are people to do?
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm not pro piracy, but if people want to play a game and you won't sell them the game, what are they to do?
Yeah,
It's like they're movies that people want to watch. They're TV shows that people want to watch, but they aren't streaming anywhere and you can't get a physical copy to watch it. So what are people to do?
yeah, exactly.
Go and sail the high seas.
Yeah, and Jerry rigged their own like peer-to-peer server connection, which companies get mad at and get shut down. It's like you're not even using your IP. So why are you getting upset about it?
Look, people, you got to understand something, okay? If if someone's selling you something, okay, okay, if something is commercially available, it's the reason why when Nintendo shut down those people who were fucking doing all that shit with the emulation, I was like, right on. Because you know what? You're selling, like, the Switch is commercially available. All those games that they were emulating are commercially available. You're literally taking money, a potential sale from that company. Uh, conceivably, not really, because I mean, in order to even emulate the shit, you have to have a physical copy. Because it decodes it based upon the hardware. It's a hardware encoder and decoder. Okay, fair, but conceivably someone can find a workaround for that and fucking pirate. Okay, cool. But if you're looking at like GameCube, Wii U, a lot of that shit's not being sold anymore. If it is, the price is exorbitant. So what are they to
Yeah,
do?
yeah, exactly.
But you mentioned that people get mad. Oh, don't say that. But that's just my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm just some guy. On other notes, I been watching X-Men '97. It's fucking amazing.
I've heard people say it's good. Might check it out. That's on Disney Plus, right?
It is, and it is fucking
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I gotta check that out. I might go back and watch the old stuff too, if that's on Disney Plus, and then watch the
I believe it is. The old stuff is hard
newer
to watch
stuff.
though. The old stuff is like, oh man, I enjoy it, but I'm like, this shit is kind of rough. But man,
Oh, too much cheese for your liking.
no, I mean just graphically because the thing is like they got it up there, but watching it was designed to be on CRTVs in a 4:3 ratio,
Oh yeah.
whereas TVs now are high def. They're like on the bare minimum they're 16:9.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Like, unless you have a really nice OLED TV, uh,
that you can put in
only
4:3 mode.
yeah, it looks pretty decent, but if you're just stuck with a
Yeah,
LCD panel,
you just got to
it
put
does
it
look kind of rough.
in 4:3 mode where the screen shrinks down into a 4:3 ratio. Then it just looks weird because you got bars and shit around your image, which is just kind of,
Yeah,
it's like, do I really want to do that? That's where I'm kind of like, okay, you know,
it's like it's cool when fans do things that the companies don't want to do, like recolor old content. Like I don't know if you've come across uh sailed the high seas and found like Dragon Ball recolor, where like they recolor it to better fit modern monitors, and it looks immaculate.
no, but I am a fan of light novels and manga. And back in the day, if you wanted to like read certain manga, you had to get a fan translation. There was no
Yeah,
official translation, so you basically, like, that's how I read the all of Ranma half, because it only went up to like volume 16 or 18, and but it was
yeah,
like a 30 some odd volume series. So the rest of it I just downloaded back in the day, way back in the day, and read it that way. So, you know, yeah, man, that's how it was back in the day. Look, shit is different than it was now than it was back in the day. Back in the day, times was rough, man. If you were a fan of something, like if you were a sci-fi fan, you just had to hope and pray that they would have it.
yeah,
Because sometimes they didn't. You're like, oh, I want to watch this. Oh, we don't have that. You know, thank God for Dragon Ball Z and all that shit. Because if Dragon Ball Z and Cowboy Bebop and all that shit, like the door was kicked open by Akira. Because
yeah,
Akira is an adult animation. You know, it's
yeah,
really violent and it deals with repression and government censorship and how, don't trust the government because it lies to you. And authority is not always right. And it just, it's like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Yeah, it definitely did. But it had a smaller audience because it was rated R. It wasn't,
yeah.
the internet didn't exist, so
Well, it
well,
was
well, I mean,
around,
it
but it
did.
wasn't like it
It's
wasn't
not
like it
like
is
now.
now. Yeah, it's not like it is now. Like now, anything you want to find out, you can look up. The internet back then was in some ways more open because you could find it, but the digging was much harder.
Yeah,
Finding shit back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s on the internet was, first of all, you had to have someone who had access to the internet. Good luck with that, because you had to have some money to have internet if you were a private homeowner.
yeah,
Um, if you weren't a private homeowner, um, like you had to go to a library, and the internet in the library was trash. It was
yeah,
like, this is kind of hot buttered ass. Nowadays, if you live in a really rural place and like poor people, the best internet is probably at a library. Like
yeah,
amazing internet at a library compared to what you have at home if you have internet at home.
yeah,
Like a library will have maybe 10 megs up, 10 megs down. Sorry, 10 gigs up, 5 gigs down, something like that. Whereas you go home and you're still like a step above dial up. you know,
yeah,
I got 500 megs. I got 500 megs up, 100 megs down. And here's the thing: even if it says 10 gigs up, 5 gigs down, it's still going to be less than that. It's always less than That's like best case scenario. It's never best
Took
case
like
scenario.
took like 5 minutes to download a song. If you were one of those people,
Oh
um,
yeah.
you know,
Like
it
if
was,
you if you were loading a picture, whether it was illicit or licit, and you're like it would slowly load, and you would scroll down, and more of the picture would load, and by the time it fully loaded, you were just like, okay, all right. Like if you were doing a school paper, and you would like say you were looking at like the Almanac, National Geographic, stuff like that. You literally took so goddamn long for you to get pictures up. So if someone came in and they had pictures on their shit, it's like, goddamn, you balling? You went and got those
yeah,
pictures printed out, you bastard.
yeah. It's like you look at a file, 500 megabytes. This is gonna take all day.
Yeah, basically. And if you had dial up, your parents would be like, look, man, I need to do a paper. I'm going to need access to the internet for X amount of time. Parents be like, get off the phone. It's like, look, I got to do this shit. If I stop, it's going to stop the middle of the shit. It was rough.
Oh
It
man,
was
yeah,
rough back
that
in the
was
day.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Y'all don't
Thank you
know.
for that.
Y'all young folks don't know what we went through back in the day. You just don't fucking know. You don't know. You don't appreciate. You don't appreciate like for you young horny people. You don't appreciate how easy it is to have access to the shit that you want to see
Yeah.
compared to what it was back in the day. You just don't know. You just don't know. Y'all have never had it easier. Anyway, enough about that. Guess it's time to move on to the last topic before we move on to free topic slash unpopular opinion. Um, so final topic is also video game related. Thought it would be appropriate, but it's kind of a fun topic. So normally I ask at the beginning of the cast, "What have you guys been playing?" Well, I'm not gonna ask what you've been playing. I'm gonna instead at the beginning. I'm gonna ask towards the end what you've been playing, what you've been doing, game wise, and has it been hilarious? You know, has it been fun?
Well, I've been playing Bullet's Gate 3 with a friend. Um, Probably gonna go after here. Uh, Play that after the cast,
All right.
and play a little bit of Street Fighter 5 a couple of days ago with a friend on Discord. Um, that was fun. Um,
That's good.
and one of the things that's funny situation that happened is we were we were recruiting Karlak or going through the Karlak mission, and my friend forgot to turn off uh, turn off the rage mode. So after the battle was over, I don't know if it was just a glitch or what. She just started attacking everything. I was like, oh jeez. Uh, anyway, that's it.
Okay, that's fair. I've been playing a lot of uh, AFK games, like away from keyboard games, because I just been busy. You know, been fucking around. I plan on going to the movies tomorrow night. I don't know what I'm gonna watch, but I'm gonna go watch something. Let's see, what are they? What's showing? What's showing tomorrow? That's basically what I'm gonna watch. Let's see if I don't know, Kingdom from of the Planet of the Apes, Furiosa, a Mad Max movie. I might go watch Fall Guy.
What's it called?
Yeah. Or I
Fall
could go
Guy?
watch. I could go watch. What? Yeah, Fall Guy. The Fall Guy.
Hmm.
Oh, never mind. I thought they were gonna show Batman. They aren't. They aren't showing Batman. Damn it. So I got a choice between The Strangers, which I'm not gonna watch, The Fall Guy. Yeah, I'll watch The Fall Guy. Or I could watch Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, but I saw that once. I'm not watching that shit again. I'm not watching The Phantom Menace again, damn it. Never again.
Are they replaying? Why are they replaying the Phantom Menace?
Because earlier this month it was May the 4th. You know, May the 4th be with you. Because of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars. May the Schwartz be with you. Anyway, enough about that shit. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of away from keyboard games. Um, I'm gonna start. I enjoyed Fallout, the TV show, so much that I'm probably gonna start um, a new playthrough of New Vegas because that's my favorite Fallout games.
Oh, okay.
So probably get a good mod list going on over there. So anyway, time to finish this out with unpopular opinion slash free topic. I guess we'll do free topic first. Is there anything that you've seen since last week in gaming that you're like, or pop culture, you're like, I need to talk about this. This needs to be talked about.
Mm, let's see. Apparently, PlayStation lost a lot of money. Uh,
Yeah, not
last few
surprised.
weeks.
What?
Uh,
I'm not
or
surprised.
last, yeah. So that was kind of interesting. We talked about earlier, Square Enix is pulling away from um the AAA development. I don't even know why the heck they uh they decided that in the first place. Just because of how things were. I guess they thought they were just gonna get a payday on PlayStation. I guess they thought it was
Yeah,
1995. So
because
people are just
every other time their games would sell like 5, 6, 7 million on the PlayStation, and then they would basically get extra money from Sony for keeping it exclusive, and then they would go and put it on PC and get that extra dip. Um, but it didn't work out that way. Those bastards.
yeah. Yeah. That's what it is, man. That's what it is.
But you know, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's just how I feel. But Square Enix bought it on themselves. Look, I've said this before. Final Fantasy, you cannot spend the type of money they're spending on Final Fantasy and have it just be on PlayStation. because the audience for
Yeah.
that game is not just on PlayStation. And if you want to
Yeah.
grow the audience, you have to go beyond just being fucking on PlayStation. And by the time they port these games over to other platforms, it's too late.
Yep.
Like they really shot themselves in the ass. But what's new?
Yeah. Exactly.
But anyway, so I guess it's time for I don't really have a topic that I really want to cover. I already kind of already did. So I'll just do an unpopular opinion. Here's my unpopular opinion. Um, I think that the Switch's successor isn't going to be nearly as successful as the Switch was.
Yeah, I could see that. I agree.
I don't think it's gonna bomb, but like, the Switch is at like 120 odd something million, 125, 130 million units sold. I don't think
Yeah.
I think the next console maybe reach a third of that. No, no, maybe like two-thirds. So around 80, 90, 75, 80 million.
Yeah. Oh, they're all right.
They not going. They ain't nobody gonna lose their house, but it's just like
Yeah. Yeah.
people like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna sell. No, because the same thing that happened for the Wii, where there's gonna be a group of people who are perfectly happy with the original Switch. They are not gonna upgrade,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna have some people who are like, oh well, but that's just me. But anyway, that's my own personal opinion. I know some people are gonna get mad because people always get mad at everything you do. Like, I don't like this. This makes me angry. But that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And I
Yeah.
think it'll be good for Nintendo to take a small L because they're getting a little arrogant. And when
Yeah.
Nintendo gets arrogant, they tend to fuck up.
Yeah. They got a little too prideful.
It's like, oh man, I could do everything. It's like, sit your ass down. So sit your ass down and learn to appreciate your customer base and stop trying to beat everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, that's the end of the cast. This was a short one because, shit happens. A little under an hour. Is there anything you want to
Yeah.
pimp out?
Um. Do Project Console. Probably gonna do that about every other week instead of
Okay.
every week.
So,
So
if not next week, the week after next.
yeah, I didn't do it this week, so I'm gonna do it next week.
All right. Well,
So I'll show up
all right.
if you're available.
Okay.
Um. Also, but then again, um, what other days besides Tuesday are you available?
Uh, typically speaking, I'm definitely available Wednesday. Next week,
Wednesday.
I have a lot of people who are going on their Memorial Day week vacation, so I'm not going to be available that Tuesday or that Wednesday, unfortunately.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Um, so because I was also thinking about just moving it to another day, because I
Yeah.
was wondering if I could. I don't know if you were available on Sunday or Monday.
Uh, I mean, the thing is that I work at night, so if you were gonna do it Sunday or Monday, you'd have to either move it up to in the day on Monday, or you know, whatever. And I don't know what your schedule's like, so that's why I don't necessarily want to do that. or a pre-recorded podcast, which is also could be done. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, I actually might end up doing that.
that might be easier. Just do a
instead.
pre-recorded podcast, and then you can,
I can just upload it.
just upload it. Yeah, man.
I might just end up doing that because nobody watches it live, so I'll just end up doing that. So
Yeah, and then occasionally do a live one every once in a while.
yeah, for like events or whatever. But yeah, I think I think I might move it to Thursday. I don't know if you're available Thursday.
Thursdays work.
Work day, yeah. So all right, well, I'll just keep it on Tuesday. So
Here's why
I
hash browns
think
are
I
better
will
in restaurants.
do every Tuesday. I'll just
Outback Steakhouse has got nothing on this. Start
I'll
with
just
one very
record it
large
and
onion.
probably
Cut the
upload it
bottom
the
and
next
a
day.
very tiny bit off the top. Now peel, fruit
For
side
that
up,
day.
4 slices. Like
I don't know. I'll figure something out.
All right, yeah. I mean, you can workshop it. You'll eventually figure something out. Anyway, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace. Have fun, guys. Good night.